What the Ethereum community's staking argument is really about. The Ethereum community is debating the power and responsibilities of the Ethereum Foundation, which some think is playing central banker by suggesting changes to the Ether issuance formula. When is a discussion about the issuance curve of staking rewards in Ethereum not really a discussion about the issuance curve of staking rewards in Ethereum, when it's really about Ethereum governance and Ethereum's monetary policy? The TL, Dr. on curve issuance and why seemingly everyone is riled up about it is as follows. On its current trajectory, it is conceivable all ETH will eventually be staked, whether directly or via restaking. Right now, almost 27% of all ETH is staked. Paul Dylan-Ennis is a lecturer in the College of Business, University College Dublin, and author of Absolute Essentials of Ethereum. Starting with a post in February on the Ethereum Research Forum, Ethereum protocol developers and researchers have started the discussion about how best to address it, with the key change centering on a new issuance reward formula that makes staking past a certain point unattractive. See also, Ethereum could face hidden risks from ballooning restaking market. Exciting stuff. Except the reaction on social media has tended to focus less on the technical details of this proposal and more on the idea that it involves changing Ethereum's monetary policy. In other words, it's not really issuance that is at stake, so much as people have a sense that the core devs a somewhat ambiguous term in Ethereum. Particularly those associated with the Ethereum Foundation have not engaged in the appropriate level of rough consensus from the wider set of stakeholders. The critics tend to be Ethereans associated with the ultrasound money subculture that hopes to establish ETH as sound money in a similar way as people think of Bitcoin as sound money. For them, changing the issuance curve is a red line because it's reminiscent of central bankers constantly tweaking monetary policy. Who are these wider stakeholders? In my reading, the Ethereum ecosystem encompasses everyday users, node operators, validators/stakers, niche Ethereum media and podcasts, and D-app builders. In at least 2 recent media articles, these stakeholders are referred to as the community, and the community is either up in arms or pushing back against the proposal. The core devs are, of course, part of that community, but it's also clear they have an outsized influence on the protocol relative to the other stakeholders. Further, what we are really talking about here are the various researchers who are paid by the Ethereum Foundation. Because, well, the Ethereum Foundation is one of the few organizations that pays people to focus on protocol research. See also, Crypto Staking 101, what is staking? Now, here is where nuance is important, especially since we live in an era of actual conspiracy theories about the Ethereum Foundation, for example, the ludicrous world of Ethgate. As a researcher of Ethereum governance, my view is that EF is not in control of Ethereum. It is also worth mentioning the Ethereum Foundation is engaged in a process it calls subtraction, where it will phase itself out. In truth, there are large numbers of core devs who are completely independent of the Ethereum Foundation, and this is especially true when we include the autonomous software client teams. However, it's also clear to me that while the influence of the Foundation is overstated by critics, it's also understated by its defenders. We know just 10 people are responsible for 68% of all implemented Ethereum improvement proposal types. And if you follow Ethereum protocol development at all, you can probably guess the 10 hard forks are announced via the EF blog. The logistics of the all core devs meetings are mostly handled by people associated with the Ethereum Foundation. So, it's not hard to see why some people fall for the impression that the EF runs the show. See also, what happens if the second classifies ETH as security? I would argue that this is really a problem of communication. As Ethereum developer Tim Bako notes, most core devs see the Fellowship of Ethereum Magicians Forum and the Ethereum Research Forum as places to discuss and debate work-in-progress research, but many in the broader community misread it as the place where final research is shared, and everyone just has to accept it. But as Bako points out, there were efforts by the 2 authors at the Ethereum Foundation who suggested reducing the pace of ETH issuance, Casper and Ansgar, to spread their message, including an appearance on the Uncommon Core podcast. Unfortunately, people tend to focus on X as if it were the medium for Ethereum governance discussion. Interestingly, in response to a post by Hasu, Ansgar notes that they could have done a better job, but also that he thinks the backlash is a sign of Ethereum's robust decentralization at work, which is true. The community does have its voice, and the ability to contest research it does not like, at least in its current form. How then to dispel the idea that Ethereum governance is the preserve of the Ethereum Foundation? One path is what we see with Layer 2 seconds starting to involve themselves more closely in governance, as with Layer 2 roll calls attempts at creating common standards, or D-app builders lobbying for EIPs. What these stakeholders have grokked is that Ethereum governance is in principle open to anyone. There is nothing to stop you from writing your own research on the Fellowship of Ethereum Magicians Forum and the Ethereum Research Forum. There is nothing to stop you from championing your own EIPs, or attending the all core devs meetings. See also, how to stake 7 Strategies for Starting Out. Another overlooked angle is the importance of independent observers through specialist podcasts. Sassel's The Daily Gwei and Christine Kim's The Infinite Jungle both cover protocol governance closely and to my mind act as important independent advocates. A perfect recent example is Christine Kim at ETH Denver asking Prism developers why they don't focus more on the user and developer experience. Thinking bigger, it might be time to consider mechanisms for community feedback. Something I proposed before is an annual Ethereum assembly at ETHCC or so, where different stakeholders in the wider Ethereum ecosystem could voice their concerns about NEIPs. But people tend to think this could be a centralizing force, so perhaps it's a no-go. Alternatively, it might be interesting to explore the idea of an online feedback mechanism. Perhaps a window of 1 month annually where everyone else can post their concerns or issues regarding new research, directions, hard forks, the roadmap, etc., which core devs could review as a sanity check. I think this would address some issues that are not going to go away otherwise. In the end, without such a mechanism for feedback, Ethereum's social layer is limited to X, which is an adversarial platform and tends to encourage our worst behaviors.